Well, good evening, laddies, lasses, and lassos, and welcome to the click. You smell absolutely astounding today. And don't let anyone else lie to you and tell you otherwise. On this channel, we have a motto. Trauma is just spicy nostalgia. And to help with that very positive outlook on life, we are going to look through r/vent. Because sometimes it's important to just get your little frustrations out there so you can thoroughly enjoy that spicy nostalgia. Enjoy. Mwah. I always like it when I say that we have a saying on this channel, and it's the most out-of-pocket random bullshit that I just thought up in the moment, and I have never actually said before. r/vent. My girlfriend told me she befriends less attractive girls on purpose. Yeah, my girlfriend was telling me about how her friend is trying to find a boyfriend, so she is using dating apps. She said she's not having any luck. I told her, that sucks. She said her friend might have to lose some weight to find a guy, and I was like, yeah, maybe. Then out of nowhere, she started talking about how she loves having overweight friends, how she looks better by comparison. I was like, what the frick are you talking about? She was like, we're more comfortable with each other so she can say this. We've been together for a month. She went on to say that her overweight friends make her look like a model, and that she will never get friends that are on the same level. Oh my god, your girlfriend is the most vain, vapid, fake friend I've ever seen. On the same level as her, because she loves when guys come up to her at the club and ignore her friends. I wonder if she's also low-key happy about her friends struggling on dating apps. Oh my god. She said it makes her feel powerful and desired. Okay, you know, the thing that sets self-improvement apart from just bullying is whether or not you can feel empowered and work on yourself without shitting on your friends behind their back. Why does your power and empowerment or sense of self or whatever have to depend on someone else failing, so to say? That's not a real friendship, man. She said it makes her feel like a high-value woman. I was just like, alright, that's cool. I guess it's not cool if she treats her friends like this behind her back. Just imagine what happens when you start having arguments or whatever, or when she feels insecure about something. I don't know. I feel like she is showing her true colors. But I feel like a lot of girls do this, so I can't fault her. Weird. Okay, but just because there are other people in the world that might do similar crappy things to their friends doesn't mean that it's a good thing and you should be accepting it. Okay, poopy behavior is poopy behavior. One thing that I've seen that is a really good tip in these sort of situations is that would you recommend a friend to keep dating this person after the person they're dating had shared this with them? Treat yourself like you would treat a friend that you were giving advice to. And in this case, I would imagine you would tell your friend to run for the hills because goddamn, that's just a massive walking bag of red flags. I just imagine how her friends would react to this kind of stuff. Oh my god, Susanna's struggling with dating, but it makes me kind of feel like a high-value female, so I don't mind her struggling. I hope Susan remains loveless so I can feel good about myself. Like, fuck, man. I, 30F, went on my first date in 6 years, and I am never dating again. So I was in a relationship for 5 years, ended earlier this year, and on Friday I was lonely, had no plans on Halloween, and decided to download Hinge. First-time user. I was shocked. I got 100 plus likes the first day and got overwhelmed. I also was shocked a few men already asked me out within 2 days. So one guy who was pretty attractive and lives in my town, most of the other ones lived further away, asked me out and we had a good text convo on Friday and Saturday. So I said yes. Honestly, I wouldn't usually say yes so quick, but I want to get out there and practice, so I had low expectations for the date. I mean, that's good. You can always go on low investment dates, so to say. Just go have a coffee, or go for a walk in a park if one of y'all have a dog, or whatever. First dates don't really have to be so high pressure. Just do something relatively cheap and casual, because then you can also feel the vibe. Do the both of you even have chemistry? Because a lot of people don't also want to text and talk for 2 weeks, and then it turns out you have no chemistry in person. So meeting up quickly can be perfectly fine, but also having low expectations for the first date is typically nice, because you're not stuck at a 5-course dinner for 3 hours when you realize after 20 minutes you have no fucking chemistry whatsoever, and it's just painful. He tells me he will pick me up today after work to take me to a restaurant, more on the pricey side of his choice. I said I will drive there, and this should have been the first red flag. He kept insisting on picking me up because he's a true gentleman. I doubled down and he said, okay, see you there. Well, we met up a few hours ago. I was feeling nervous, but he looked like his photos and was very friendly. A bit over the top, pushed my chair in, and he was already there and ordered us drinks. I didn't plan to drink, but I figured because he already ordered, I should just take it. They didn't bring them out until I got there. So we end up talking mostly about what we're looking for and our jobs. He gets vulnerable and says he truly wants love, blah blah blah, and feels something different about me versus other women he has met, blah blah blah. You're not like other girls I have met on this app. Honestly, I wanted it to be true, but I have always been a pretty skeptical person. Well, we are there an hour. He ordered another drink and 2 appetizers and entree. I just ordered my entree. I denied the second drink, but he kept insisting. He ordered it anyway, but I didn't drink it, so he had to drink it. I mean, that's perfectly fine. It's a bit weird to push someone to get tipsy on a first date if they're not really interested in drinking. I get tired when I drink and told him I don't do more than 1. He laughed and said he had to use the bathroom since he drank so much. I had a weird feeling at that moment, like, oh, don't tell me. Well, I waited about 5 minutes. Waitress came to check on me. I told her I was on a first date. Not gonna lie, the tears started flowing a bit because I was so embarrassed that I likely got left with the bill. And I think the guy ordered all this stuff and left me with the bill and told her I only got the entree. I could tell she felt really bad for me and she said she's gonna get her manager. I gave the manager his name and showed his photo to them. They said they would split the check to just include my entree, and at this point it had been 15 minutes, so it was very clear he left. That's very cool of the establishment though. Like they're actually willing to step up and not have you foot the entire bill after being left alone on a first date. That's really nice of them. Like, that's a good manager right there. I just want to say that I'm never in my life going on another first date off an app, because what the actual fuck was that? Meet for coffee! Meet for coffee! Guys and gals that do this. Dating in LA sucks, and after I got burned a few times, I just meet people for coffee. You know what? I met my lovely wife for coffee, and it's been 6 years married. Don't give up. Meet on your own terms and you will find the right partner for you. Sorry this clown hurt you, and you will find love when he will be out there lonely. You win. I definitely share this sentiment as well when it comes to dating, especially first dates. Like, when you've dated a couple of times, you can definitely do more splurgy things or whatever. But like the first date, just like getting a vibe for the person and see if you have any chemistry whatsoever. Also avoiding people who are just trying to get a free meal or whatever. You know, so meeting for coffee, going for a walk in a park, something like that, something public, a beer after work, that is perfectly fine for a first date. Anyone who's like serious about dating and actually meeting a potential partner is gonna vibe check on the first date. The first date is a vibe check. That's what it is. Anyone who's expecting a 5-course meal on a first date isn't there for a vibe check. They're there for something else. Why are chubby girls ignored? I am so frustrated, I hate this. I am chubby, not obese, just overweight, and I could definitely lose some kilos. But why do I always get treated like my opinion is lesser? A fit friend could be saying the same thing as me, same confidence, and I get treated invisibly. I don't even think I look that bad when I dress up. I try my best to be positive, but I literally heard that chubby girls are practically invisible. This is even worse because I work in CS, currently interning at this AI company. I mean, that might also be an aspect. Don't get me wrong, pretty privilege is definitely a thing, and people will pay more attention and be kinder to pretty people in general that fall into like stereotypical beauty standards. But you're also an intern, and in my experience, like during internships or like the first year out of uni or whatever, people aren't really gonna take you all that seriously. It's still nice if they treat you nice or whatever, but you know, you're still an intern and you don't really know that much, or at least that's what people are going to assume. And constantly, I feel like my ideas are shut down or some people look at me in disgust. The more fit colleagues of mine don't have this issue and have a great time. I don't think I'm ugly, just average, and I'm okay with that. Okay, then I'm kind of interested to hear if the colleagues are also interns or if they have been there for a bit longer. Don't get me wrong, pretty privilege still absolutely exists in the world, but I think that's a pretty important distinction. Like, are your colleagues more senior and will be taken more seriously regarding certain things and have more experience, or are they also interns? But I hate this feeling of being treated lesser when I'm just fat. This is also horrible when we have company lunches, because one time I tried to go for seconds and a male intern literally snorted and said, "Yeah, that's how you become plus-sized soon." Okay, that you should just straight up report. That's just bullying. I have never been at a serious workplace where this kind of stuff was acceptable in the least. Like, what is he 15 years old? Come on. I just want to be treated like my skill level. Is that so hard? And any other people like me having this issue? Edit, just to clear some things up, I am just a college student who's just gotten her first internship at an AI company. It's basically my first official job. It's been an eye-opening experience at how most of my colleagues ignore me compared to other interns. Okay, so it is compared to other interns. Okay, then I get the feeling, definitely. Because at first I was like, okay, is this just because you're an intern who is like kind of confident, but people are also like, oh, this is like a 19-year-old intern or whatever, maybe they don't know everything about the world yet. But now it's actually compared to other interns, and also it sounds like some of the other interns are also like low-key bullies, so I definitely understand the frustrations. That sounds very sucky. Then I would definitely bring it up with HR or your boss, for example, and if they don't take it seriously, probably good to look for another place to internship or find a job long-term. Some places are just straight up stinky. I am also from an Asian country, so there's that too. I literally just wish people could see my skill level and move on. Finding yourself in a context in life that is not lifting you up, maybe even the opposite, is surprisingly common. It can be like your class in school or a workplace or a friend group that isn't really like seeing your potential, whether it be like professionally or socially or what have you. The dynamic can just be off, and I have found myself, at least in multiple chapters of my life, where I almost felt like I regressed to like a younger, more awkward version of myself because the context just didn't lift me up. It's not like straight up bullying even a lot of the time, it's just like not the chemistry vibe where like you fall into this weird social category in the specific context. In my experience, the best thing is just to move on. I mean, I still think you should report this dude, for example, just making bullying comments, but sometimes contexts just suck. And of course that doesn't make it okay, but in my experience it can sometimes be more rewarding on an individual level to just like find your own happiness elsewhere than trying to change how an entire place is running, you know? I hate that every kid is an iPad baby. Those damn kids! Everywhere I see, they are there. They talk differently, referring to only YouTube and don't even know the concept of cable TV. 67, bro. My baby cousin neither iPad to even eat their lunch or dinner. You start to give it because their friend in class also uses iPad and they want to be able to talk to them and not be left out. And then the next thing you know, there's a soccer team of iPad kids all around you. The solution is everyone needs to stop giving electronics to their kids. Social media definitely ruins childhoods. Every 5 years, the generation is changing so drastically. My siblings can't watch movies or TV shows anymore. They watch shorts. It's disgraceful. This needs to end. Ooh, it's still a like top screen, bottom screen, where it's like someone reading Reddit memes and it's like Subway Surfer. And then you also watch TV in the background and have like a music on Spotify on or something like that. You know, just massive stimuli. You remember nothing. I think also what makes it so different nowadays compared to like back in my day when I was young is everything is so algorithm fueled. Like back in my day you could also get glued to screens a little bit too long when you were a kid, like video games or kid shows or what have you. But I think one big difference is also that you didn't have it in a handheld device. And also you didn't have algorithms that were like trying their best to get you addicted to shit. Like dopamine scrolling is the worst shit for kids, like ever. You should just do the responsible adult thing and slowly get them off this addictive stuff and just start with like crack cocaine or something. Okay, dear YouTube, that was a joke. It's a joke! You shouldn't own a pet if you can't afford the vet. I struggle to understand why it's such a controversial take when people say you shouldn't own a pet if you can't afford the vet. They're not saying that having more money makes someone a better pet owner, but being able to afford vet bills is a requirement when you own a pet. Most people view owning pets as a right rather than a privilege, and that's why they get so offended by this take. A lot of people who can't afford vet bills are the same ones preaching that pet insurance is stupid, vaccines are unnecessary, and don't believe in the importance of routine exams and preventative care. You can't blatantly ignore and look down on basic preventive care and then pretend to be shocked later when you find out that once an animal gets sick, their health can decline terrifyingly fast. It's disturbing to see the amount of posts on pet subreddits of open wound, broken bones, and their pet visibly requiring immediate medical attention with the caption, "Can I treat this at home? Will it go away on its own?" Oh, it's just like... Is this like the essential oil mom equivalent of pet ownership? This is medical neglect. Stop trying to sugarcoat it or justifying it by saying stuff like, "So poor people can't have pets now?" You sound ridiculous. Ooh, this is a bit of a controversial one. 3K upvotes and 1.4K comments. Real hot take. Owning a pet shouldn't be prohibitively expensive. I understand that's what's happened, but it's fucked up that only the rich should be allowed to have pets. And kids, for that matter. I mean, honestly, I think you can hold both opinions at the same time, to be fair. Like, yes, stuff nowadays is way too expensive. You know, house ownership, kids, pets as well, food is too expensive. Everything has just like spiked in price over the past 5-10 years or something. It's absolutely insane. But I also think it is irresponsible to get a pet if you cannot afford to have it. But I suppose it's different, for example, if you already have a pet and then all of a sudden it gets more expensive. It's like, man, my cat is 7 years old and now all of a sudden the vet is 3 times as expensive as it was when I got it. You know? I can totally see that being something that people fall into too, that would create a lot of frustrations. So I think this is one of those topics that just has a lot of nuance. There's definitely irresponsible people out there. There's probably people out there that had pets and it got more expensive over time, and it should also be cheaper to have pets. You know, it's one of those nuanced things where I think you just need to take a lot of different experiences into account, and blanket statement is going to upset people, and probably rightfully so. I am totally shook by new knowledge of a coworker. A coworker and I were using a multi-stall bathroom at the same time. By the stench, it was obvious a bowel movement was involved. Noticing they didn't wash their hands, I suggested that hand washing is really a must after using the restroom. What he said next had me speechless, and I'm just sitting at my desk in a deep sense of ick. He said, and I quote, "If you don't wipe, why wash your hands?" I mean, at least the poo is not on his hands and confined to his pants. I just imagine like a slight when he sits down and, oh my god, the skid marks. I feel bad for anyone who shares a household with him that have to share the same laundry basket. Oh my fucking god. By wiping, then you touch a man's butt. That makes it gay, so you can't wipe. If you don't wipe, it creates a natural layer of protective crust. My friend married the dumbest woman I have ever met, and it's ruined our friendship. They have been together since they were in high school, and I am convinced he never thought he could do better, so he just dealt with it. He became a doctor, and they have 2 kids, and she makes all the decisions about their care. Oh, like even medical stuff? I would imagine the parent who's a literal medical professional would have a say in, like, child care? She doesn't want them to go to school because she doesn't trust what they will teach them. Oh, this starts off great. She is homeschooling them even though she failed her teaching certification 3 times and gave up on that career. Their kids have no vaccines, but the dad is a doctor, but he's folding because the wife is a homeschooling anti-vaxxer. Oh my fucking god. When I asked my best friend why he admitted he just didn't want to have the fight with his wife even though he is vaccinated and a professional in the medical field, I lost most of my respect for him. Yeah, I can see that, especially when it involves kids. Like if he wants to be stupid and mess around with someone who's like an anti-vaxxer, okay, fine, whatever. But when you're literally spineless on the behalf of your own kids, nah man, nah, come on. It makes me really sad. We have known each other since middle school, and dude is a shell of that super intelligent, ambitious guy he was. I told him I couldn't trust him to be godparents to my daughter since we fundamentally disagree on how they are raising their kids. 20 plus years of friendship is pretty much gone now. Edit for extra info since some people wanted to know more. His wife was in education, and I say was because she was fired from multiple jobs as a teacher for poor performance. I wonder why. Last job demoted her twice from teacher to aide to library assistant before they let her go. When you start getting demoted multiple times at the same job, that's like a packet of red flags. Just do buy one, get one for free, baby. She never got her teaching license, which was part of the reason she got demoted. She couldn't pass the certification exams no matter how often she took them. The last count was at 3 before she gave up on the profession. But now she wants to take it out on her kids. It's like, if I can't be a teacher in public capacity because I genuinely suck at this profession, I'm gonna make it my kids' problems. You are mama's class now, whether you like it or not. You know, there's that thing of like living through your kids or whatever, and then there's whatever the fuck this is, homeschooling your kids because you failed at your teaching career. Fuck, man. They weren't always like this in her early 20s. She was big into fashion and cosmetics, competed in a few local pageants. She went into teaching because her mom was a teacher. They moved to a semi-rural area and she became super devout. This was new because they were never like this, but whatever. That's when the homeschooling started, along with the anti-science/vaccines. Autism runs on his side of the family. His brother is high-functioning and highly skilled in robotics. Her sister has an autistic child, blames vaccines even though autism also runs in her husband's side of the family. They were our daughter's godparents, which would make them legal guardians if anything were to happen to us. I couldn't, in good consciousness, keep them as guardians because if he won't advocate for his kids, knowing what he knows, he won't advocate for mine. Your friend is a doctor, yet has married someone who doesn't believe in vaccines? Given she used to compete in beauty pageants, it's a fair bet he married her simply because she was hot. Now he is paying for marrying for looks, but not considering brains too. And the kids get the good experience of that dose too. Homeschooled anti-vax, what a nice childhood home, yippee. I, 30F, stopped cleaning and doing all the mental load, and my partner, 37M, is now fuming. I am 30 and he's 37. Together almost 3 years and living together for 2 years now. I do the appointments on our cars, maintenance, yard work, cleaning, laundry, mopping, hoovering, cooking, groceries, and overall planning of our lives and what we need and what needs to be done. I also pay all the bills and handle finances, though we contribute 50-50 financially. Okay, so you both work full time, but you also do everything at home. I mean, if you're both working full time, the household chores and everything should be 50-50 as well. You're not a housewife. He occasionally, once a month, cooks one meal, sometimes empties the dishwasher. Woo! We just recently had yet another discussion of the housework, and I asked him to take on more of it. He said, of course. In the past days, he started doing even less. I was hoovering, cleaning, making dinner, and all that while he was watching TV or playing on the computer. This happens a lot. He will peel the potatoes or take carpets outside if I ask him, but nothing more. So I went on strike. I have been sitting in our bedroom just relaxing. He was supposed to handle our car's maintenance appointment, so he came to me and said, should I call them now and get the appointment? I said, however you want to. He said, if I get the appointment now, you'll have to pick me up. I said, okay, let me know then. He got mad and left. Couple of days before my strike, this is what kind of broke the camel's back, I asked him to make me a shopping list before I left. He sat with his phone and kept asking me, what do we need? I kept saying, I don't know, maybe check. This sounds like an absolutely insufferable relationship, oh my god. Like, part of the work in a household also means that you have to take initiative, like something is missing in the fridge. You buy it, or you clean up when you see it's dirty. Otherwise, you just turn your partner into a manager as well. And then they're just like, I don't know, an admin, but at home. That's not free time either. You need to be able to, like, do stuff on your own accord around the house. You're an adult. And I told him to stop using my brain for this. So in the end, he only added 5 or 6 items to the list. Most of them were for himself. Snacks. I am so over and done with this bullshit of handling not only my life, but my business and also his life. He takes zero responsibility for anything and now has the audacity to get angry at me? I am so pissed right now. Also, our house looks disgusting now after just 2 days of striking. I mean, that's like a pretty good way of just like practically seeing how much you are actually doing in the house. If you just stop doing it, it literally falls apart in 2 days, you know? That's kind of telling that when you're not doing it, no one else is doing it either. TLDR, partner is now mad at me for going on strike as I do 99% of the chores inside and outside of our home, including mental load. Update. He came home, the kitchen being a mess, trash overflowing, and just general untidiness. He went to take a nap instead. He is asking me what's wrong and why I'm acting the way I am. I am honestly just done with explaining the most obvious poo to him over and over again. He doesn't seem to get it. This house looks like a pigsty right now, and he doesn't lift a finger to do anything about it. Did he ever live by himself? That's like the sort of question I get from this, because this sounds like the kind of dude who would move directly from living at home with his parents to living with a wife or whatever. You know, it never sounds like he actually had to take care of a household himself, because he genuinely sounds confused, which means, of course, that he's very immature and doesn't understand what actually goes into taking care of a household, which also is why your work is kind of invisibilized. I wonder if that's sort of the case, because that's kind of the vibe I'm getting from this. The house looks like a pigsty right now, and he doesn't lift a finger to do anything about it, but has the audacity to ask me, What's wrong? What the hell, man? What is wrong with this person, honestly? He won't clean, won't take responsibility for anything, and won't even frick me. I don't know what I am. I just feel like a sugar mama or something. Honestly, at this point, I would just break off the relationship, to be fair. Like, if it's gotten to this point and building this much resentment and nothing is getting through and you feel like the relationship is a burden, then it's pretty much run its course, to be honest. Like, I know it's very stereotypical on Reddit to be like, oh my god, slight inconvenience, break up, torch everything. But this kind of stuff just builds animosity over time. It just creates bitterness towards your partner, and then the relationship isn't gonna be fun for anyone. I would say it's better to just break it off, because this doesn't sound like a person you would want to share a life with anyway. What happens when you add even more responsibilities to the life? Like, you decide to have a pet together, or you know, have kids together, or whatever. You know, if they can't take care of a dishwasher, how on earth are you expecting them to take the equal load of, like, childcare? So I don't know. I know some people would make the argument like, oh my god, not being the most cleanly person is hardly the biggest red flag. But I think when it's like overarching with everything in life, it will also play into other things in the future. They're showing a pattern, not just the specific things they aren't doing right now. And that means the future is gonna suck even more than it sucks now. What the heck is wrong with YouTube? Why in the last 3 weeks has YouTube turned into an ad-watching platform? They wanna push premium. I watch podcasts and I'm in the middle of my podcast and an ad comes on. The ad is 192 minutes long. What the fuck is that? I am on YouTube to watch what the fuck I want. It's already peppered with fucking ads, and now I have to open my phone, open YouTube, and skip the 2.5 hour long ad to keep listening to my what? Fuck you, YouTube. You're a sellout company just like the fucking residents scream for money hungry world. Ah! I mean, it's kind of a funny crash shot, but low-key agree. Yeah, it's kind of insufferable. And I'm saying that as someone who gets a cut from it, you know? It's just obnoxious. And the ads suck. It's only gambling and mobile games. At least ads back in the day used to sometimes be funny. I watched a 13-minute video last night and was interrupted by ads every 2.5 minutes. I know that they are trying to punish people into paying for premium, which is absolute BS. But I already pay for YouTube TV, so they won't get another dime. And all these YouTubers hoping for ad revenue, what becomes of them if YouTube actually gets their way and converts everyone to paid? It's a dumb idea to be so heavily handed because it's turning people off by the millions. I mean, I agree, the ads are incredibly annoying, but YouTubers actually do get a cut out of YouTube Premium as well. It shows up in a similar way that ad revenue does. If someone watches your videos while paying for Premium, you get like a portion of how much of your content they watch while on Premium. You know, kind of similar how to like revenue sharing works on Spotify or whatever. It's just instead of CPM based on ads, it's CPM based on like how many premium users have watched your content. So there is still a revenue split in that aspect as well. But yeah, I have never been a fan of products that like punish free users in order to pay for it. You know, when you make a product worse to try to sell more of something. It's always like just add more things to premium, or try to make it better, or make it cheaper, or make it more affordable, or I don't know, something to like entice people more instead of just punishing free users. That is what gets people annoyed. I am so done with people calling me a simp because of the way I treat my girlfriend. What do you mean? You're spoiling your partner? That's not being a simp, or is it gonna go into some other wild stuff? I have been dating my girlfriend for 3 years now, and the number of times I've been called a simp by my friends is killing me. The guys, and even a few of the girls I hang out with. I am currently in university. They always tell me I act like I'm her pet, and I'm into some submissive control poo. By their definition, me getting her food, gifts, or cute things I randomly come across to buy her, having frequent dates, and taking care of her is apparently a simp mentality. Like, what does that even mean? So now I can't even treat my girlfriend to the bare minimum? They always tell me I shouldn't be spending too much money on someone unless I'm 100% committed, because I'll regret it once I break up. Okay, but that's also like a super toxic and regretful way of living your life. Like, are you never going to do anything with a partner that costs the least bit of money or time if you're not 1,000,000,000% sure you're gonna be married to them in 10 years? Like, you can still treasure memories and stuff. Just because you break off a romantic relationship doesn't mean those years are just gone or wasted, or whatever, and sometimes also because people just grow apart. Or, it doesn't have to be some kind of nasty, super bad breakup or whatever. You can still treasure memories or treasure how you grew as a person or things that you did together, but also acknowledge that, it's not the right relationship in the long term and you go your separate ways. You can do both at the same time. Your friends' opinions just sound incredibly immature, to be honest. It doesn't sound like they have experience in relationships or breakups for that matter or whatever. They also mention how I'm not man enough. I am, because I keep lowering my manliness doing things that caters to her, like, I know my girlfriend can get her own food with her own money, but why does it matter if I do it for her instead? I'm not her pet or slave or anything. I just like treating her as she's so awesome. Literally the funniest person I know, and pulled me out of my lowest point. She barely asked me for anything, and I don't mind it if she does. The reason I'm posting this is because I was on a date with my GF yesterday, and I was getting our food and coffee to our table since the GF was on her phone, when a bunch of guy table next went, "Bro is such a simp." What kind of fucking environment do you live in? Oh my god, man. Are these people for real? Is everyone actually this bitter about relationships and dating nowadays? Like, treating your partner to stuff that you've dated for 3 years is like simp stuff now? Are you serious? Like, I could get it if it was always like a one-directional exchange. She never treats you to anything or like gives whatever love language you have or that kind of stuff. Like, sure, then the relationship would be incredibly one-sided. But if it's just like partners doing normal partner stuff, like, ooh, I treated my partner of 3 years to a meal. That doesn't make you a simp. That's a normal date night. Mind you, I don't even know these guys. What kind of fucking environment is this? Is this what campuses are like now? These were random guys who looked around my age, and they were smirking all about it. Like, what the frick, leave me alone. I hate the word simp so much. It's also, not applicable. Simp is like, ooh, you bought a car for, I don't know, the person you're subbing to on Twitch that you're not even dating. That's being a simp, This is just being in a relationship. Is what I'm doing called being a simp? I thought this was normal in a relationship. Like, what? Y'all don't treat your partners? Normal people absolutely treat their partners. It might be dinners, it might be gestures, might even be trips or gifts or whatever. Usually in a healthy relationship it also goes 2 ways, but it can go 2 ways in different ways. So these just sounds like bitter people who's never had a relationship themselves. If they think that having a date night or getting your partner a cup of coffee is simping, I don't know, man, then it's probably not people you should listen to regarding relationship standards. The only time I would be skeptical of this kind of stuff if it's very much a one-way street. If you're the one always giving and always doing and always planning and always treating, then that would be a different thing. But considering you also speak very highly of your partner, I don't really get that impression either. Get these little kids off the internet. Currently in a waiting room, and this little girl, now older than 7, has a large acrylic nails and is scrolling TikTok on full volume like she's 30. She's just, slaying at 7 years old. She has her own iPhone and is talking about the makeup trends that older girls would only think about, like the clean girl aesthetic. Oh my god, the brain rot has reached the 7-year-olds. We are truly fucked, aren't we? Her height is at my waist and I'm not even tall. Sometimes I have to remind myself when I see stupid TikTok comments, it's probably these little kids who haven't even learned about the world wars yet. It is kind of infuriating. I can't imagine what these little kids are exposed to. I don't really engage with bad comments anymore, because I am convinced it's either a child who's listening to some really toxic influencer, or it's a bot. It's like, should I really spend a portion of my day arguing with someone that I don't know if they can be 10 years old or not even a real human? That doesn't sound like a coin toss I want to spend the hours of my days doing. But yeah, kids definitely shouldn't be online like that. Where are the parents? I sound like a broken record, but where are the maybe they're also on TikTok. Maybe they're also acrylic nailing scrolling TikTok. Oh, TikTok family accounts, here we come, baby. They're also little shits who bully others relentlessly and say vile things that no other person in their right mind would say to anyone else in person. Reminds me of the 2010 Call of Duty lobbies filled with 13-year-olds. Oh, good old, it's not quite nostalgia. What's a good word for trauma? Yeah, we did it in the beginning, yeah, spicy nostalgia. There we go, yeah, spicy nostalgia. Dear black people! Some of these titles are interesting. And I am saying this as a black guy myself. Okay, I'm kidding. Stop shaming each other for dating white people. Like, seriously, now we're doing exactly what we accuse all white people of doing, which is just being racist. I'm bringing this up because literally my own family has some weird issue against white women specifically. And I saw a black NFL player get pooped on for proposing to his white girlfriend. I'll hear from my family this: do not date a white woman ever. Even heard it from my own mother after she basically shamed my cousin for dating a white girl. And mind you, he comes from my dad's side of my family, which is mostly of European descent. And it pisses me off even more, because I've only ever been interested in girls with lighter skin tones. Not that I prefer it, but I only ever fall in love and talk to girls with lighter tones. Or that were just white. We gotta stop this BS. Dear everyone is a mess. I have heard it all. Don't date white women, don't date black women, don't date black men, don't date white men, don't date Latino or Hispanic, don't date Asians. Every race, ethnicity, culture has its messy people. Hell, maybe just don't date at this point. Yeah, one beautiful thing you learn about the world is there are racists everywhere. Sparkle emojis. TikTok has ruined healthy relationships. 3-month rule, February theory, feminine energy, taxicab theory, 12-date rule, 3-date rule, third love theory. Aren't y'all tired? Romance is meant to be spontaneous, fun, and a learning experience. Dating isn't a game. Just go with the flow and have the serious conversations when you need to. It shouldn't be this hard. Dear God, is there a way to summarize what any of this means? My quality of life improved tenfold once I stopped using Instagram and TikTok lamau. These are not my personal views, but I have collected definitions for you, lol. The 3-month rule, a dating rule that claims you should know everything you need to know about someone and whether or not the relationship will last by 3 months. Then you choose to have a serious relationship or leave. Why specifically 3 months though? Like, I could certainly see there being some sort of wisdom in like, oh, once the honeymoon phase is over or whatever, then you kind of know more objectively. Or like after a few dates if you're feeling it or not. But like why 3 months? It seems incredibly random. February theory. TikTok theory that couples either break up or get back together in February because it's a cleansing period. What the fuck does a cleansing period mean? Does it mean that you break up and detox from a relationship and then have to... I don't even... What does that even mean? I don't know. Feminine energy, based off of gender roles. The idea is that the woman should be the one being, where the man is the one doing, meaning that if you are in your feminine energy, you don't chase or pursue men. You let them pursue you. Said a lot is, I don't chase, I attract, as a mantra. This is just some social media ego stroking or whatever. Oh my god, if you're hot enough, you never have to approach anyone because everyone wants you. Oh my god, just, oh my god, man. Oh. Never take dating advice from TikTok trends. Taxicab theory. The idea that men want relationship based on timing, not the specific person. I mean, isn't it just both? Dating is typically a combination between like the right person at the right time and both of you being roughly in the same place in life. Like that's typically what it is. Like you can meet a person you click with, but it's not the right time because maybe one is still healing from a past relationship, or you know, you're moving somewhere, or it doesn't work pragmatically, or like whatever. But you know, if it's only the right time but not the right person, there's not going to be a spark anyway. This is very silly. That they will settle down only when they are ready and to the first woman they meet. Oh my god, I can see it in front of me. This theory is definitely completely made up by someone who is salty they got dumped by an ex and then got married to the next person they met. But it's probably not the next person they met, it's the next person they met that they clicked with. They probably happened to meet a bunch of people along the road until they found the right one after the past relationship ended. I can definitely see where this theory comes from, and it's just salty bullshit. 12-date rule. Wait 12 days before having naughties. Okay, 3-date rule. Wait 3 days before having naughties. Is it days or dates? I guess it's supposed to be dates, right? So I guess 12 dates or 3... I don't know, man. Just do what you want to do. Oh my god. If you want to fuck around after a party, fuck around after a party. If you want to wait 3 dates because that's comfortable, wait 3 dates. If you need longer because if you want to feel comfortable with someone and you need to have that kind of rapport, then wait longer and find someone who's also into that sort of chemistry because that's going to make it way easier long term and you both want the same thing. Anyway, and also don't let people push you into doing things you're not comfortable doing yet, and so on and so forth. Oh my god. Third love theory, the idea that everyone has 3 loves in their life. The first one is puppy love, the second one is the most painful love, and the third one is the unexpected, long-lasting, and mature love. This is like some fucking star sign shit, man. We are not having kids because it's not affordable. Forcing us all will not fix the birth rates. Taking my choice away won't increase the population. But some wrinkly old frick that's obsessed with America wants to frick around with our abortion laws. I am so angry. I am furious because the only people that will want this are old men or people too old to give birth. Frick all of y'all that let this yank propaganda make its way to these islands. We don't want your God and we don't want your hick laws. Frick outta here. I mean, yeah, if you want the mystery while less people are settling down, maybe start by looking at like the cost of food and houses, you know, kind of the same conversation we had about the pets. You know, it sort of extends to kids too. Y'all need to stop dating people you don't like. Oh my god. I got downvoted for asking a question on a post. Why are you with someone who has a habit you don't like? That's simple. OP was asking if they were overreacting because their partner smoked weed before a task or showering together. And they specifically asked them not to smoke MJ beforehand. OP doesn't like it. I mean, if you don't like smokers, don't date a smoker. I too would find it personally annoying and offensive if my partner always got high before doing a task with me. I never said she was overreacting or underreacting. I simply asked, why are you with someone that does something that you don't like? I mean, there's always gonna be compromise in a relationship. You know, no one is 100% match for anyone because everyone is their own person. You know, that's simply how reality works, and that is how it should be. But, you know, there is also different levels to it. You know, is it stuff that is reasonable compromise or building a life together and realizing you're 2 people that needs to fit in this life? Or is it stuff like this, when it's like, okay, if they want to smoke weed that much and you hate smoke, maybe it's not meant to be? People get into relationships wanting to change people. People are only gonna change if they deep down really want to. In my experience, people don't really change. Like, you can change certain habits and stuff. You can improve stuff, or, you know, maybe improve some habits or change certain things. But like at the core, people sort of are who they want to be. I've never met anyone, for example, who like used to be super introverted and now they're super extroverted. Stuff can change, for example. Like if someone has a rough period, for example, that leads them drained or depressed, getting help with that can certainly get, for example, social energy back or whatever. Like, you can see a change in people due to solving other problems. But it's not like at the core, someone who's introverted or extroverted is going to suddenly become the opposite, you know? I have never seen it myself, at least. And that goes for more things in life. It's just a very simple example. So I don't know, trying to change someone at their core is probably like not a thing that's actually going to happen. I live by the quote, if you don't like smoke, don't date a smoker. Yeah, that's pretty valid. People need to understand their own deal breakers and stop dating people with those. Instead of finding someone they like, they try to change someone they don't. Kinda like people who meet their GF at raves or clubs and then try to indirect her to go to those very things. Like, bro, oh my god, cool rave girl. What, she likes raves? What the shit? The "let's not applaud men for doing the basic things" movement is BS. I am a woman, and I really hate the popular messaging going around that women shouldn't applaud their BFs or husbands' partners for doing the bare minimum partner stuff. Okay, I mean, but there's also a difference between vastly overhyping something that is like pretty much expected versus just being thankful. You know, whenever I have lived with a partner, for example, even if, you know, both of us do something that is just expected in a relationship between adults, like, oh, someone emptied the dishwasher, you just say, oh, you emptied the dishwasher, thank you so much. You know, whichever direction that goes in. That doesn't mean that emptying the dishwasher is this grand gesture or whatever, but it's still nice to just be grateful, because it still takes effort. You know, so I don't know, there's a difference between acting like if you're a savior or a hero versus just being appreciative that your partner is a responsible adult. And being bitter in this sort of way is certainly a way to make relationships just a pester for everyone. I find this mindset to be bitter, entitled, and very toxic. Things like this is what continues to drive resentment and lack of empathy between men and women. Ooh, the online rage baiting is certainly not helping. Everyone needs appreciation for big and small things regardless of gender. If we went out of our way to show our partners appreciation, even for the most basic things, we would have happier, more fulfilling relationships. Wouldn't you feel fulfilled in a relationship if your partner made a big deal after you do the dishes or cook dinner and showed that by giving you a back rub or watching whatever movie you want to watch with you? To me, withholding appreciation and applause in a relationship is like watering your plant with bleach and expecting it to bloom. I know from my childhood with my parents that this mindset doesn't work. They believe they shouldn't need to applaud me for doing the bare minimum as a kid. And it's like the parents that are like, oh, they cleaned the room, but that's expected, so we can't be positive about it. It's like, no, then you say like, oh, good kiddo, you cleaned your room, because it is a good thing. Even though it's like kind of expected to clean up after yourself or whatever, it's a responsible thing to do, it's good to applaud things. Like, come on, man. This made me resentful, and I stopped wanting to do anything with them. I felt like the stuff I did do did not matter and not good enough. So I wouldn't recommend this kind of thinking in a relationship. I think appreciating stuff your partner does, even if it's within the realm of just like responsible adulting that we should be doing, you can still appreciate it, okay? It's still a good thing. Building up this whole thing that you can't be appreciative of something because it's supposed to be the bare minimum, that's just gonna build resentment, man. Oh my god, I would never date anyone with that attitude. Jesus Christ, that sounds incredibly exhausting. I hate being trans. Less than 1% of people in the world are trans. The majority of the world views me as subhuman trash. People under the impression that children are easily getting their genitals altered and mutilated. This does not happen. They seem to think it's a decision on a whim. Multiple meetings and screenings. It's like asking, are you sure you want to do this? Over 1 million times before they even consider letting you medically transition. Such a small, tiny amount of people, and yet the media is curated and trained to spread misinformation about trans people. It also doesn't help that a lot of media is online and like thrives on rage baiting nowadays, but it's insane how big of an issue it has become. I have had it happen a couple of times in my life when someone has come up to me IRL and like initiated a conversation about it. Not often, but like a couple of times. And it's like, oh, did you see this about the trans people? And one thing that I usually tell people is like, oh yeah, how many times have you actually had a problem with something like this? Like how often has someone in your vicinity or yourself or whatever had a problem with, I don't know, gendered bathrooms? Or whatever, or like some agenda. It's like, usually, if the person is somewhat reasonable, it's a bit of an, oh, moment. And they realize that this is like such a made-up issue, man. Like, oh my god. I want to live a normal life. I have hopes and dreams and aspirations. I have thoughts and feelings and senses like any other human being. I do not want to be killed or assaulted. I do not want to lie awake at 3 a.m. scratching and itching at my body in the hopes that I can rearrange my skin and facial features. I do not want to feel like my brain and insides are melting because I was not born the way I was supposed to be. I just want to be happy. But the majority of people for some reason have any fixation on people like me. What have I done? Why am I being called a P-word and freak when all I do is study, work, eat, and sleep? If I could press a button and make me cis, I would, without hesitation. I absolutely would. Why would I choose something that is characterized primarily by suffering? Why do people think all these blatantly wrong things? Things are getting better, slowly. There are bumps in the road, but the support for trans people, for example, is much better now than it was 10 years ago or 20 years ago or what have you. It is moving in the right direction, it's just frustratingly slow. And also saying that it's better now than 10 years ago doesn't mean that it's good. It's just less sucky than it was back then. Personally, I really dislike how the topic of trans people have become this like widespread, like rage-baited topic, like full of fucking grifters and misinformation and hate-mongering and fear-mongering and all this kind of stuff, when in reality, all the trans people I know, they're just vibing. They're just living their life. They're just studying or working. A couple of them are making YouTube videos. It's like, huh? They're just peeps. More people in the world need to realize that we all just humans. You know, we each want friendships, relationship, and that kind of stuff, stability, safety. We're all just looking for the same things. And the stuff you read online is usually pretty overhyped, you know? I find it fascinating that our parents told us, like, I don't believe everything you see on TV, and then they turn around and believe everything they read on Twitter. God damn it. A good friend of mine is trans and absolutely hates the spotlight the media has put on them. Just like you, all they want is a quiet, normal life. Well, laddies, lasses, and lassos, thank you so much for watching this video, and I do hope you enjoyed it as much as I enjoyed having you here. Have a wonderful rest of your day, a wonderful, beautiful bean, and I will see you again in the very near future. Take care. Mwah.